Hello, everybody. Dallisa Hawking here, fifth generation psychic medium and CEO of Spirit and Spark. I am delighted to be bringing you this special edition of Planets and Predictions. We are going live today on May 13th. I'm going to be bringing on our special guest, Rebecca Gordon, here in just a moment. I see that there are a lot of folks that are watching live, so welcome to the broadcast today. I love that you're commenting, so keep that coming in. It looks like we've got people all across the United States, as well as, all across the world. We've got somebody from, it looks like Spain, that's tuning in, which is a lot of fun. California, Texas, Washington, Utah, Nevada. And it looks like, and we have even a guest joining us from Cape Town. How fun is that? So we are doing this episode today because we are headed into eclipse season. If you've been following Spirit and Spark for the last few days, I have been asking you, find out, of course, you probably know your sun sign, but also grab your rising sign because Rebecca's going to be joining us and telling us all about how this eclipse season is going to be affecting all of the signs. And what is an eclipse? Why is this so important? So we're going to get into all of that with Rebecca. So this is an episode you do not want to miss today. Rebecca resides in New York City, and she has had an astrology school for 16 plus years. So if you've been thinking about astrology, you want to learn astrology, definitely check her out. I've got her website scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Also, make sure you've subscribed to Spirit and Spark TV on YouTube, as well as Rebecca Gordon's astrology channel on YouTube, so you can get all of our latest content. Rebecca's also the author of Your Body and the Stars. She's the resident astrologer for Harper's Bazaar magazine. She's been featured in the New York Times, Forbes, the Oprah Winfrey magazine, which I love that magazine, and Vogue as well. And there's more, of course. But without further ado, let's go ahead and bring Rebecca on to the live stream. Hello, Rebecca.
Hey there, Dallisa. Great to see you.
Yeah, it's fine. You look beautiful this morning, or I guess it's noon in New York.
It is. You look lovely yourself. Great to see you here.
Thank you. Yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun today. So you obviously know what you're talking about. You and I have had a couple of conversations, and we know the importance of the eclipse season. But for a lot of folks watching today, maybe they'd never even thought about eclipse season or what it is or why it's going to impact our lives. So I thought it'd be fun to talk about what eclipse season is. And I know that within this show, we're also going to talk about a free webinar that you're going to be offering, and everybody can log on to your website and sign up. It's all about your body, your health, and how the zodiac signs apply to that. So if you want to give that a quick plug before we go into eclipse season, you're more than welcome to do that because it sounds really fascinating.
Sure. Yeah. Health and wellness in relation to astrology is probably one of my favorite topics. So I'm hosting a free webinar the weekend, not this weekend, but the next one. So on the 23rd, it's at 2 p.m. Eastern, and you're going to learn all about how to stay in optimal health based on your zodiac sign and really the emotional, psychological, spiritual connections to our body and health conditions. So we can ask that question, what else could this mean? And I always want to pose that question when it comes to the body. And that's sort of how I read charts. I don't just look at the personality. I see the physical form and all aspects of soul in there as well. So definitely check out the webinar. I think you can probably smash that button in the link below in the show notes. You'll see it down there or on my website. Sign up. It's free. It's fun. And then we have an upcoming course in early June on, I believe it's Wednesday, June 9th on Astrology for Health and Wellness. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, I've never met an astrologer who reads a chart and also takes the physical body into consideration. So anybody who's interested in that, which I'm sure we have a lot of people tuning in live today, are going to be signing up for that webinar. So that is beautiful. Okay, so what in the world is an eclipse? I know that when we talked before, you said that there's lunar and there's solar eclipses. So what? And I just kind of say to my followers, like, hey, I'm not an astrologer, but eclipses are like full moons times a million.
Well, that's true. That's well said. And I mean, personally, I've been an astrologer full time for 17 years straight. That means I've been reading charts almost every day, teaching courses and all of that. And I can say hands down, in 17 years of practice, if there's one event that is like the main thing of the year, it's absolutely an eclipse. And we are all entering eclipse season right now. What is an eclipse? Well, essentially, I want to like roll us back for a minute and ask, like, what is the sun? Because when an eclipse, the light of the sun gets blocked out. So the sun is our kind of like information radio signal channel here on Earth. The sun is light. What is light? Light encodes information, intelligence, but it's a specific intelligence that our sun has. There's other suns out there. There's other stars. There's Sirius, there's Antares, there's many different stars and suns, right? But our sun is unique because it encodes a specific line of light and information to our whole solar system, and all the little planets dance around the sun, right? So when an eclipse happens, what really happens is that light channel, that information channel of our sun gets blocked. It gets cut off, and basically what's happening is like that light channel is not going to work anymore. The moon blocks the light of the sun. And what I feel life is about evolution. And what really is happening then is the moon has been circling the Earth up to that point. It's been collecting information. And the moon's kind of saying to the sun, we got to cut all these humans off from those systems that are no longer working, those non-evolutionary patterns, whether it's that old job, that old relationship, that old thought form, that old habit. What eclipses do is they expedite your evolution. So when the moon blocks the light of the sun, it pretty much tells the sun to shut off that radio station, and you can't ever turn back on in the same way. It can last around 7 minutes. When the eclipse is over, after that, the sun is going to emanate a brand new quality of light, new music, new tunes that we're all going to be dancing to on planet Earth. And that means that you're going to be like, wait, what was I doing before? And that happens to a lot of us. So like my first advice for everybody globally is to start to release the grip on what you consider your reality right now and what you think you need, because it's questionable right now. There are things that we've all been doing that are not in our soul's best interest, that we might just be habitually stuck on. Karmic patterns. Eclipses expedite evolution, and they will help you to loosen the grip.
Interesting. I love that explanation, and I could follow that, right? Like as a layman astrologer, or like an enthusiast, I would call myself. Then I understood that, and I feel like it's going to give us a lot of these tweaks and a lot of reconfiguration. The word that I'm hearing right now from my spirit team is realignment. And so that's going to be really, really interesting. So whether you want to realign or not, the light code is going to be restricted, and you're going to be kind of forced right into the corner of looking at everything. Is that right?
Well said. I mean, that's the great part about it, it's like, let's look at it this way. You're asked to cross the bridge, and ultimately this is an eclipse. You got to cross the bridge from one cliff to the next, and then the bridge is going to fall into the water. Like there's no going back, Now, let's say you don't want to cross the bridge. You're like, oh no, I want my safety. Well, too bad, because the universe conspires for evolution. And that can be quite painful if you're trying to hold on with that grip. Your hands are going to bleed. It's going to be painful, but still you're going to have to cross the bridge. So even if you don't want to, and you all listening probably know what that one thing is in your life that you got to let go of and cross over. I'm sure everybody listening has an idea right now, but start thinking about that. This is prime time to start thinking about this as we're entering eclipse season right now, because I can guarantee you in 2 months from now, all our lives are going to look pretty different.
I believe that to be true. And when I do my channeling I do a Monday prediction video where I talk about what the energy of the week ahead is going to be like. And I keep getting over and over, and this has been for months. It started coming in, I think, last fall, but they said, you're going to have to pick one road or the other. The two pathways are going like this, and you're either in the energy of being the prisoner of your own life, Or you're going to say, you know what? I'm ready to be the pioneer. I'm going to go in the direction of the life I know that I can have, and the goodness and the lessons and the evolution. So it sounds like the astrology and the channeled messages from the universe are coming together.
Yeah, as they always do. I mean, that's really the beauty of all of this. And what you say is also poignant because the eclipses are in the signs of information, which are Gemini and Sagittarius, which I believe are prominent in your chart as well, if I'm not mistaken.
That's kind of my rising. Oh my God, what is this going to do to me?
Well, it's going to be a major game changer month for you. Yeah. So we can talk about that too. I don't know if you want to share your information, but I'm happy to talk about that too. I mean, because Gemini and Sagittarius are the two, it's called the axis of information communication. And since the eclipses are falling on that axis, I'm just getting an echo right now. Not sure what's going on. That just started. Hope that goes away.
I can hear you all right. So hopefully it goes away in a second. Yeah.
Okay. I think it just disappeared. All right. As we're talking about the axis of information, it starts echoing out there. So there's two things that are happening during eclipse season. One is a lunar eclipse, and then is a solar eclipse. And they always come in pairs. A lunar eclipse is pretty much like a full moon times 100. A lunar eclipse is a full moon lunar eclipse, and a solar eclipse is like a new moon times 100. So first on May 26th coming up, we have the lunar eclipse. And the lunar eclipse is like a time of finality, endings. So all of us are going to be asked to release the grip on something. And it's in the sign of Sagittarius. So I'm getting that it's a certain concept, a belief system, something, a rhythm that we've all been dancing to. It's like, oh, this is how we need to live. This is how life has to be. This is how we have to work. There's these like structures, templates, almost belief systems that have been fed to us and programmed through our DNA for a long time. We've just been like dancing to those rhythms, moving to them almost unconsciously. And then an eclipse hits and it's like, do we actually need that? Can we live without that? And we release the grip on these things. Ideologies, belief systems, genetic thought forms that have been passed down to you. A lunar eclipse in Sagittarius is a full-on releasing. And this is absolutely what you're saying too here, Dallisa. The ruler of the eclipse is Jupiter. Jupiter is well positioned in Pisces, which means that this eclipse is going to sail us into clear waters. Even though it's a lunar, it's an ending, you're going to get rid of the fray, all that flotsam and jetsam in the waters, and you're moving into a cleaner space. So absolutely let go, release the grip. 2 weeks after, there's a solar eclipse on June 10th. Now that solar eclipse is a new beginning for all of us. And that will set the tone for your year ahead. And Dallisa, if you're open to it, I was thinking we could give each sign a little message of what's going on for all of them and what this eclipse cycle means. What do you think?
Absolutely. Oh, yeah, no, that's fun. So as we get ready to do this, everybody who's watching, whether you're watching live, because we have a ton of people watching us live today, which is a lot of fun, or you're watching the replay, what I want you to do is to drop a comment and let us know what your sun sign is. And if you know your sun and your rising or your ascendant, go ahead and put both of those in the comments. I just want to see out of curiosity which signs are tuning in. Usually I find that there's one astrological sign that is a little bit more than the others who are tuning in. It's kind of fun to see how that plays out. But yeah, beautiful. So I'll just keep an eye on that and see if there's a sign that is sticking out for people that are tuning in more than others. But yeah, let's start. What sign do you want to start with?
I mean, we can be a bit of trad here and start with the good old Aries, but I'll say that like eclipses are probably one of the most ancient predictive tools and outlasting. Like there's transits, there's progressions, and as an astrologer, probably if somebody says to me, what's going on this year, the first thing I'll look at is an eclipse. Yeah, we're in it. So we could definitely kick off with Aries, which is the first sign of the zodiac. Okay, so as we talk about each sign, we'd like that sign to specifically write in their questions and their experiences. Like, I don't know about you, but I woke up today and I texted my friend, I'm like, I am feeling these eclipses already. They are working through us. Like we can feel, it's almost like the platelets are moving beneath the earth and things are just getting ready to shift, right? Are you feeling that?
Oh yeah, I usually feel the energy of the astrology and the aspects that are coming in the transits. I usually find that I'll feel it about 7 days before it starts, like where I really get the hit. And I am curious, like why that happens, because I know that happens with some people where they start to feel it in advance of it coming. Is it just because maybe those people are a little bit more sensitive to the energy?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know you have a radar for earthquakes and other things like that, and astrological events are no different. I mean, these are really it's and of course, as above, so below. So it's like the same compounds that make up the planets and stars are what made up our bodies. So of course, when things are changing up there, we're going to feel it down here, and some of us, like you, are going to feel them much earlier. Um, so so yeah, who are the Aries in the rooms?
Yeah,
And
so we've got all signs are represented. I'll say there's not one that's really sticking out so far, but I
okay.
love that a lot of folks know their sun, their rising, and a lot of people are commenting with their moon as well, which is fun. And we did circulate ahead of time the birth chart, the natal chart calculator. You can certainly go on RebeccaGordonAstrology.com, and there's a free calculator on there. So if you're not sure what your rising sign is, or your moon sign, or what your chart is composed of, you've got a great tool on there. And so they can always revisit this video and listen to the signs again if they don't know right now as they're listening.
Absolutely. And I'd like all the listeners, as we go through Aries to Pisces, to listen for their sun and rising sign too, to get the complete picture. And that's really what I teach and everything, that you have to listen to both. So we're talking about Aries. And again, this eclipse sets your tone for the entire year ahead. Essentially, this eclipses burn a hole in the sky so that when planets cross over that point, it will reactivate the energy. The first thing we can say for Aries is it is literally on the axis of communication. What Aries is learning about here, what they're releasing, first of all, is literally this old thought form, this old belief and way of doing things. There could be a lot happening for them in terms of media, actually, around May 26th. There's a lunar eclipse here, and it's a very strong one. There's probably good things happening if our Aries are in media or in production, publishing of any form. There's wonderful things around that. But what we're seeing with them is that they're starting a new, like it's like a new book or a new form of communication, new form of media, writing, an idea. And this might, I'd say, stay with it, trust your instinct on that new line of information coming through you. It definitely has legs and it will take you really far. So stay with it, Aries. Trust yourself.
Aries, yeah. So Aries, you got to comment and let us know. Are you working on any kind of media projects or writing a book, thinking about doing something new, maybe even in social media? So let us know, Aries. So if you have a sun or a rising Aries sign, comment and let us know your thoughts. Yeah, beautiful.
So, I mean, all of the signs are being somewhat, we're all being affected in some way. Hold on one second. I'm just going to move the chart on my screen. Okay. Let's see. There we go. So I want to talk about the Taurus next. A couple things we can look at for Taurus. Oh, good. We have Aries. That's right. Okay. Wow. So Taurus, first of all, with the lunar eclipse, what you're realizing is that you can actually, there's an area that you're learning to let go in and release and trust, and that is around money. You've been in some money stories for a long time, your whole life maybe. And I will say that these eclipses come in cycles, and every 18 to 19 years, every similar cycles can come back. So if you're old enough, you can look to what happened 18 to 19 years ago, and there's going to be a replication of that. So Taurus is releasing old money stories, ways of seeing a glass ceiling, dealing with money. And what I see them beginning is actually focusing on things they like doing. So Taurus, you're going to start working on your creative hobbies and all of that, and turning your hobbies into businesses, turning things you like into business. It's like starting a new stream of income, releasing the old money story. You're going to move mountains, and you're naturally a sign that's quite resourceful and adept in the material world. So I see you doing really well with this, and that's probably the eclipse theme for your year.
Okay, beautiful. So Taurus, if you've got a Taurus sun or rising, comment. and let us know, are you thinking about starting a new business endeavor? Maybe it's something you're passionate about or thinking you could do with your creative spirit, and let us know if that's something that resonates with you. I think that's a really great thing that the Taurus energy is going to work on for eclipse season. Who doesn't want to release old money stories and habits and make more and have a new revenue stream? I'm kind of jealous now of the Taurus energy.
Yeah, I mean, as they came in as a Taurus soul, a lot of their life lessons are around learning how to work with money in the material world. So this eclipse is like, it's going to be resonant on that level. I see our Taurus is saying they're restoring a house and an Airbnb and things like that. That's great.
Wow.
Yeah. So, okay, we can look at Gemini now, which I believe connects to you, Dallisa, right?
That is my rising sign. So fingers crossed.
Okay, so this is talking about partnerships. So what Gemini is learning about this eclipse season is love partnerships and business partnerships. And this is saying, first of all, around May 26th, which is the lunar eclipse, and it gets a glow of a month plus or minus, and it really consumes the theme of the year, I'd say. So the first thing we're seeing is a releasing the grip on partnerships that are not in alignment. Like there's certain kinds of partnerships, whether it's love or business, that need to be just like let go of. Let's let the ashes enrich the soil and start again. And you're going to feel so much more clean and resilient and bright. It's like taking off a layer of like, if there was sort of like dead weight holding you back in some ways. So all our Geminis, it might just be that a partnership really has to change a lot. There's certain codes in it that's like, we can't go on this way anymore. We got to make some changes. And then the new beginning for Geminis is about self-expression, because as you do this, a new, more resplendent part of you is rising up to show all of your colors and to shine forth. I mean, Gemini, you have the solar eclipse in your sign. You are the rebirth, the sign. This is your year. And it's especially a wonderful year because you have Jupiter also in Aquarius much of the year too. So it's a lot of support from the air signs.
It's so funny because, and I completely agree with that, both in, romantic love, with work partnerships, and just kind of determining, what works, what doesn't work. And so all the Gemini folks, go ahead and start commenting and let us know how that resonates with you. But it's interesting because I know that Pisces, Jupiter and Pisces are doing their dance right now. My moon is Pisces, and my midheaven is Aquarius. So I just feel like if this is going to be like the year of my life, then bring it on.
And if you remember what happened like 18 years ago, 19 years ago, there could be a resonant theme coming back too. And of course, like we're much wiser now and everything, so it's not going to be exactly the same. But yeah.
Beautiful. All right, let's go on to the next sign. Which one do we have?
Okay, Cancerians. So the Cancerians and Cancer rising, what we're going to see for you, the first thing with the lunar eclipse is you're letting go of a health habit. It's almost like there's something that you've been doing to your body for a while that might be habitual, that's not necessarily in your soul's best interest. In fact, where you need to go in your life, this is holding you back. It could be just an old habit. And it's important to do a real thorough audit of what you do in your daily routine so you can release these things that are actually not good for you. You probably know what this is, Cancer, as we're saying this right now. So it shows sort of releasing of old and healing the body, loving the body more, letting go of the old stories you told your body. Maybe you had stories of self-hate with the body. Maybe you were not exercising the body. Maybe you weren't caring for it in the way it needs to be. Listen to your body more. And this is also happening because we have, our brain chemistry sends signals to our body too. And the solar eclipse is showing up in your 12th house. It's saying there's new messages that we need to send to our body. And in order to do that, we need to change our subconscious mind. And that's what this really comes down to for you, Cancer, is there's the subconscious mind is the control center, as you probably know, right? And it will tell the mind what to do. So you're having to go back and listen. What is your subconscious mind telling you? Our autonomic nervous systems sometimes get so preset, and we have to create space in between those impulses and our reactions. So I see you untying the knots, Cancer, and doing the deep inner work. And as you do this, as you let go of these patterns, your physical body will also change too, because you're going to start loving yourself more, treating your body better, treating your spirit, your emotional body, your mental body. This is a whole like spa for the inner self that's happening with you this year, Cancer. I mean, this is a sort of, it's a very healing year. I mean, it's almost like you're getting a complete reset internally. And I mean, come on, you got to live with yourself for the rest of your life. So, I mean, I couldn't think of anything better to do. So I think it's a really good focus for you.
I agree. Going back to the Gemini one, Shanna's saying just broke up. She's got a Gemini sun, so right in alignment with changing with relationships of all kinds. Brooke saying she loves the spiral staircase behind you. I agree. And then Natalie, what's that?
In terms of breakups, like a lot of Geminis did break up around, or they are breaking up over the next month or two. Not all Geminis, but that. And if anybody's breaking up around eclipse season, I just want you all to know that if it's happening, it is in the natural order. There is something in that relationship that had outlived its evolutionary purpose. And this is probably better for all of our evolution, although it might be so painful. And sometimes eclipses are very painful like that. But I will say they are in favor of evolution, even though it feels like at the time, ouch, ouch, you're just twisting the knife. You have to trust the process of these eclipses. And sometimes they take like a couple months to shake out and see where everything lands.
Yeah, beautiful reminder. Natalie was saying about your Cancer astrology forecast. She has Cancer moon in her first house, and she's feeling drawn to return to a vegan protocol.
Oh my God, I have a Cancer moon, and I was actually just thinking about the same thing yesterday. That's so funny.
Yeah, it sounds like you're on the same wavelength. Caroline is saying, I'm going to go to that self-love spa, new regimen, Cancer rising, and then moon, Sag, sun here. Yeah, beautiful. All right. So what sign do we have next?
Leos. Okay, Leos. So Leo, you're ruled by the sun, the center of the solar system. Real bling up in here. Okay, so we're going to talk first about the lunar eclipse for you, which is first connecting you to what you're needing to let go of. And you're going to remember for Sagittarius, I talked about business partnerships or partnerships in love or business. But this is actually about old ways of seeing love, and that you can open your heart to a new iteration of what love is. But first we have to like burn up the crops and let go of what we were like. Maybe you had a laundry list of all these things that you wanted. Maybe you had a vision board, or I don't know what, but the old ways that we used to see love, well, they have to be this and this and that. I need you, Leos, to release the grip on that, because reality can be much better than your imagination can deliver. Actually, reality might surprise you much more. So it's really important to not limit the great weaver. Okay. Do you get my drift, Leo?
Oh, yeah.
So I want you to sort of open up the lens here a bit more and let go of some of those stories you might have been holding on to of what you think you need in love. On the other hand, Leos might be also letting go of a relationship and a kind of love that's no longer working for them. That could be happening too. But I do feel more so they're letting go of old ways of approaching love and old stories around love. And that's going to feel really good. It's possible that a relationship dissolves too, but only if it's really not in alignment with where they're going. It's a breakthrough. Now, what we're seeing for Leos in as far as the solar eclipse in June, on June 10th, is this sort of working with a team, an organization, collaborations. I see you collaborating a lot in 2021, and you're going to be working with a group of people for a higher vision. So it's not like an ego-driven thing. It's almost like, okay, we're all focused on this one thing we want to do, and beautiful collaborative efforts working together for a cause. So I love to see you collaborating, connecting, working with others, and really finding your tribe, people of like minds to connect to and work with for the future.
I love that. It reminds me, as you're speaking about the Leo energy, I just keep seeing in my clairvoyant vision the phoenix rising. It's like the tower burning down to the ground and then being able to go through that rebirth.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, live life, spiritual direction. Love your screen name. It says, Leo sun sign. I had a breakup in February and I'm still sorting through it. I would love to let go of my past way of being in a relationship. Sounds completely in alignment with the energy.
Well, you are so ready. I mean, this eclipse, and even if you're not ready, this eclipse is going to get you ready. So I will say, like, a lot of us have been sort of holding on to relationships, right? That are, they're hard to let go of, let's face it. Like, so especially if it's been a long time or there's many connections, but what shows up for you? It's very interesting how exact the eclipse is sometimes, because on the day of May 26th, when the lunar eclipse happens, that's when the song changes. But what I talked about before was the lunar eclipse is when the earth is right in between the sun and moon. And so the moon completely turns red for a bit and it looks very vampiric, you know, and then there's, like, once again, there's a new rhythm afterwards. It's a real ending of cycles, but it's like, well, we can't go back to the old ways, even if we want to. And that's the beauty of this, that the universe wants evolution. It wants us to evolve, and eclipses do expedite our evolution. So we have to trust, even though we might be like, what's going on? Our whole life is turning upside down. Dallisa, if there's one other thing I would say to everybody, it's like, create more time in your schedule, like just empty time, breathing room, because you will need that for eclipse season, which is May and June, pretty much.
Yeah, it's a great reminder for all of us, and a great tool for that self-love, that going inward, for stillness, for reflection, for clarity. The vision and the sound I heard as you were just speaking, Rebecca, is like one of those old vinyl record players, and the record going around, and then it like screeches, and then you've got to switch out for a new, a new record, or maybe you're going to CDs or 8-track.
Oh my
God. A whole other vehicle, it feels like. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great way to put it. I love those analogies. I love it.
It's how my spirit team talks to me. So it's just a part of occupational hazard. All right, beautiful. What sign are we going to do next?
It's Virgo time. So Virgos, you've had the eclipses at the top and the bottom of your chart. That means the area of home and career. All right, this is like our roots and our wings, you know, the base and the top. So a couple things here. What we're seeing show up around the May 26th lunar eclipse for you is around your home, and whether you are letting go of a home, releasing away. Maybe you're saying, I need to travel more. I need to be a digital nomad. I need to, go to my family's home. I need to re-envision home. Maybe you want to buy a home. Maybe there's something that you're releasing in the way you've been connecting to the concept of home. And that can feel very freeing, actually. I mean, Jupiter is, at the time of this eclipse, the ruler of the eclipse, Jupiter, is in dignity, which is a very strong, almost like onlookers to the eclipse, which means you're supported in this move. So that's happening. 2 weeks later, we see a solar eclipse in your career sector. Virgo, this is a huge career year for you. When there's a solar eclipse at the very top of your chart, which is like the pinnacle of public life. I have a delivery at the door. Hope it's going to be okay. Anyway, so when that happens, what we also see is that everything that has not been working up to this point in career, it just gets left in the water and you move forward with a brand new path. It's not a lateral move. It's a distinctive move up. You're moving into new terrain, new territory. Like whether if you're like in corporate, you could see it as a promotion. If you're an entrepreneur, you could see this as a new business model, a new way to go forward and stuff like that. But very exciting year for you in career, Virgo.
Yeah, so Virgo, sounds like you're going to level up with eclipse season, which also probably comes with making choices and transitioning out of one piece of your life and making those choices. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if we have Virgos that are watching this right now saying, "Oh, I've thought about going into an RV or a or a streamlined camper, or just like going to travel for a while." So whatever it looks like or feels like, it's because the word that's coming in with this energy as you're speaking about Virgo, sun and rising, is freedom. It just feels like liberation, but in a way that feels joyful. So Virgos, let us know. It looks like we've got a comment here from Jean or Jeannie. Sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. It says, Virgo rising, I just relocated and purchased a new home.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, beautiful. And then looks like L Rose 44, Leo sun, Virgo rising. I was just thinking last night it's time to move. A lot of people are moving this year.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's with Jupiter and Saturn in Aquarius, I feel like there's less connection to what we called our home before. We want to kind of move around, be mobile. The air currents are strong. I do think travel will be coming back in a big way, in a very big way with Jupiter, especially going back into Aquarius.
Yes, Marie's asking a question for clarification. Could it be someone moving out of my home? Like, to me, I would think anything kind of around changes in the home or things, going through a transformation. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's a lunar eclipse. So it's an ending of what home was. It's a letting go of what sort of home situation was not working. KTL says they just moved and it's been the best decision ever. That's great.
I love it. Yep. We have all kinds of people commenting saying they're moving. So that's fun. All right. So we have Libra up next?
Correct. Yeah. So when we look at Libra, what we're seeing here is a lunar in the 3rd, solar in the 9th. There's a focus on learning something new, going back to school for you, Libra, with the solar eclipse, maybe teaching something. There could be big contracts to sign first, like you're going to give an application for a school. Maybe you're a course creator, you're going to start teaching a course. But I see this around learning and teaching for you. Also, international travel speaks very strongly to you, Libra, this year. I can see some big trips for you. So we're seeing education and travel as the main themes.
Okay. So Libras, let us know if you are thinking about going back to school, maybe teaching something or international travel. We did have a question in the comments about finding the rising sign on your chart. So when you've got the chart and the information is along the bottom, and I'm speaking about the chart you can find on Rebecca's website, which I have scrolling along the bottom of your screen here. There's going to be a chart if you're looking at your screen kind of down to the right. And it's going to say AS, which is your rising sign. So you can click on that. Rebecca's got this handy tool. You can click on the AS and it'll pull up the box and it will tell you a little bit more about what that rising sign means. So that's where you're going to find it. Yeah.
Thanks for explaining that, Dallisa. And also, like, if they're going to actually look at the circular wheel, it's what is always going to be 9 o'clock. So, like, you can look at the sign that is where 9 would be if it's a clock.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
Either way. Okay, so another thing we're going to see for Libra is it could be a good year for publishing. If you've written a book and you want to find a publisher, this is your time. Legal matters should go well too. Things like that. Okay.
That's good. Yeah, Leslie's saying I was just talking about going back to school yesterday.
Wow. Yeah, it's your year. Go for it, Leslie. You'll do well with it.
Yeah, beautiful. Okay, who's up next?
Scorpio time. So Scorpios are lunar eclipse in the 2nd house, solar night. What we're seeing, I just want to mention that, yeah, it's a solar eclipse, though, as some of you already know, Mercury will be in retrograde, and maybe this deserves a special episode into itself. But Mercury's going to be retrograde from June 22nd to the end of, from May 22nd to the end of June, to like June 29th, and give both sides of it a 5-day window on each side. You're going to feel it going into it and on the other side. So I just want you all to take things slow, to listen, to step back, you know, don't rush this stuff. Okay. And I'm saying that as we go into Scorpio because there are some important decisions to make for Scorpio coming up, specifically about money, joint resources, how you connect to others, how you partner with others. And you do not need to jump the gun and rush fast into anything when you don't have all the pieces. Take your time. Okay. So Scorpio might be leaving something that's given them security for a long time, like literally an old job that was safe and secure, but no growth there. Scorpio's like ready to leave that story of what was kind of keeping them in a little box and spread their wings. And as you do this, you're going to start to see money in new ways. I see you, whether it's forms of equity in new companies that you're gaining, or maybe you're investing in blockchain, in Bitcoin and all of that. Maybe you're just investing in something. You're starting to see money in other ways, in getting out of the whole like hourly time is money story. I see you actually exploring other revenue streams, other ways of actually translating worth, value, money in the world. And this is a paradigm shift, and I think you're going to enjoy it. But it's also going to be a bit scary because you're a fixed sign and you're not one that's known to love all this change. And it will be a bit of a shift. So be easy on yourself. But ultimately, I do see new ways of revenue coming into your life that are not necessarily in the form of paycheck. And I like that for you, actually.
Yeah, that sounds interesting and curious. We had a couple of questions in the comments. You should be listening for your sun and your rising sign. And then we had another question. Is it possible to be a Leo sun and a Leo rising? Absolutely. You could be a triple Leo. Is that right, Rebecca?
Yeah, you could be Leo sun, Leo rising, and Leo moon. Super sunny over there. Okay.
Beautiful. Yeah, we've got a lot of people confirming what you're saying in the comments and asking great questions. So, yeah, awesome. Let's see. So Chrissy's saying other revenue streams that came up in my reading as well. Yes. Beautiful. Okay. And then we have Sagittarius.
That's right. And once again, the eclipses are in Sag and Gemini. So you are the signs that are getting affected the most, Geminis and Sag. Also the Virgos and Pisces a lot too, because it's squaring you. So I know, Dallisa, these are your signs, right? You have a Gemini rising and Sagittarius sun. This eclipse is for you, babe. Okay.
Oh man, I'm a little bit curious and terrified at the same time.
Oh, it's like, if you like change, which I think you do, you're a mutable sign like me. We love change. Like, you have to trust this process, and it's going to be an unknown journey, and let's just dive into it. And it will take you, like how the ocean waves sort of like, you land on the shore. You land where you need to be. So it's good. The lunar, so for Sagittarians here, the lunar is in your first house. So what you're releasing is literally an old way of seeing self. Like it's like you're shedding a skin. You're like, oh, I don't need to be doing that anymore. I don't need to be presenting myself like this anymore. There's definitely stories that you've been, that our Sagittarians have been in that are not necessary anymore. And as that happens, our relationships also change. So as we let go of a layer of self, what happens is relationships that were plugged into that kind of way of expressing self, they're not connecting anymore. They're like, wait, then it's going to change a lot. It's going to change relationships, and it's going to expedite the evolution of partnerships in your life. What we see, this is for Sagittarians, this is a big marriage year, it's a big partnership year, like soulmate year, connection, all of that. But it's also saying, in order to do that, we're having to let go of those any layers that were on the self that are not really in alignment with our core. So as we're releasing all that, we're going to come much closer to what is like soulmate, marriage, partner connection. Now, if that's something you already have in your life, it might be in the form of a business partner or another kind of partner. Yeah.
Listen, you just like made my whole week. I'm 40. I've never been married. And listen, people that follow my show, they know. And I'm always posting on Instagram like funny memes about being single. So, hey, you never know. Maybe it's finally my year.
Yeah, I'd say so. And honestly, the week of June 10th is really strong as well. But ultimately, this is a great year for Sagittarians in love as well, because Jupiter is spending a lot of time in Aquarius, your third house, which is about meeting new people, things like that. The solar eclipse is in the house of partnership and marriage. Why not? There's no better time for 2021 for Sagittarius to partner up. I love it.
I love that. So all of our Sages out there who are watching, let us know. Are you single and looking? Do you feel like it's coming for you this year? Do you feel like you're primed and ready to go for some kind of exciting business collaboration? So let us know in the comments what you're thinking. Sagittarius, we got it made. This is our year. Let's do it.
Yes.
All right, then we have Capricorn, right?
That's right. Okay, so Cappy's here. A couple things. The lunar for you is going to be in your 12th house, and the solar's in your 6th house. What we're going to see is you're letting go of your old, it's almost like an old mindset. You're having to release the old mindset, the way, like a way of seeing reality, a template you might have put on reality in the past. And as you do this, what's beginning for you is a new routine, a new health routine, a new body routine, a new way of working. I mean, you're a sign that I feel like has this sort of like all work, no play rap, but that's not exactly the truth. Like you're much more than just working. And sometimes I don't like these really diminutive things that talk about science, because it feels like Capricorn, your species, the Capricorn species out there, is really changing and evolving a lot this year. And what's happening is like this new kind of lifestyle, quality of life is developing, and a new way of treating your body. It's an amazing year for health, for your routine, to get into. Maybe if you're an entrepreneur, you start forming a team around you, strong coworkers, employees, things like that. It's a great year for that too. But we see health, quality of life, routine, enjoying your life more, especially the whole just fabric of the day. But a great focus on health, not only the physical, but you're absolutely releasing old mental, emotional stories that might have been holding you back.
I like it. I like it. We have a good question that came in from Caroline. Can you just, Rebecca, quickly talk about maybe what the difference between your sun sign and your rising sign is? Like what would, and I know that we're listening for sun and rising or the ascendant to get a better overall picture of what's going to be happening during these eclipses that are coming up. But as they're hearing about this, maybe some folks watching don't know the difference between what a sun, a rising, or even a moon sign is. So do you mind talking about that for a moment?
Yeah, of course. And I'll also say, like, I have a little workshop that's on my website that is called How to Read Your Birth Chart and Follow Your Life Path. And it's like an hour and a half. It's $33. It's like, and I would recommend that to anybody because that hour and a half will give you so much information. And that's also on my website. But I'm going to explain it in a nutshell to you right now. The sun sign is the what you're here to do. Like you came here to do this. The rising sign is going to tell me the how. Like, how are you going to do the job of your sun sign? And the moon is going to tell me the why. And I really teach you all how to break it down and tell stories in that workshop. Again, it's called How to Read Your Birth Chart and Follow Your Life Path. So, but yeah, that's probably the simplest way I could break it down.
No, that's beautiful. And I hadn't heard it put that way. And it makes perfect sense because I'm sure the folks that are watching that know there's three, their sun, their rising, and their moon, they're like, oh, wait, I get it. That makes sense. That story makes sense. And had I had a reading done, 20 years ago, I mean, I think it would have revealed a lot about how my life was going to be shaped and things that were going to happen. And everybody watching this, and I know we still have a few more signs to go, and then maybe we'll just chat a moment about what's coming with Mercury retrograde. But I think that everybody should be getting astrology readings on the regular. I started doing regular astrology readings for myself probably about 6 years ago. And it was like dark night of the soul. I had started a company. I was working a full-time job. And it was a really hard period. And I said, all right, I'm going to just try an astrology reading. And it completely changed everything. And it gave me hope so that I knew when things were going to start to shift and why I had to go through the challenging times that I was going through. And I have chills from head to toe as I'm talking about this. I think that it is a tool that everyone should have in their life, because the word that's coming in right now is hope. It gives you hope, and it lets you know and reminds you of the lessons you came here to experience, to express. And you're on Earth School. It's a hard school. You're in an advanced AP class and you're here, but you're doing it. But astrology, I firmly believe, helps you get through some of those hard times.
Yeah, well put, Dallisa. I feel that, yeah, thanks for saying that. It really contextualizes it. It shows us like the why sometimes, because there's these things that we go through and like, what was that? And we can see it as just a series of like misadventures or something. And what astrology does is a lot of the time it reframes it. It says, well, okay, so this is what was going on then on a spiritual level, and here's why. And we're like, oh, okay. And I think when we start to see our past differently, the future shifts. And that's kind of like a secret to life, that if your perceptual awareness changes on your past, then your future recalibrates itself. Because your perceptual awareness on one thing is your perceptual awareness on everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Amen to that, Rebecca. Amen. All right. So what do we have? Aquarius next?
You're right. It's Aquarians. What we're letting go of here with this lunar on May 26th is perhaps an affiliation with a group of people, or maybe there was, affiliations in your life that just don't make sense anymore. You've grown, they've grown, you've grown in different directions. It's okay to let that go, and as that happens, what we're going to see here is the birthing of new love, sweet love. This could actually be like a baby. You might even be having a baby. You might be very fertile. Hey, look, if you don't want to have a baby, be careful. Okay, you're going to be fertile, I'm saying that for a couple of reasons, right? You're going to have Jupiter back in your sign. The eclipse is in your 5th house of children fertility. Let's say you're in a creative profession, Aquarians, like you're a musician or an artist, something like that. It's very possible that this is the birth of a new creative endeavor, like you release an album or you put an artwork out into the world. These kinds of things could be happening as well. So we do see it's a wonderfully creative time. It's the time of opening the heart. It's about love. Playing the magic. Have fun with this. Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like when you've outgrown your tribe or your friends, your circle that you've been around. And it doesn't mean they're bad, you're bad. It's just that change of energy. And when you allow that energy to be closed and those doors to be closed, you open yourself up to the people, the relationships, the energy that's going to align with that rebirth that you're going through.
Yeah. Yes, I love how you put that together. Exactly. It's almost like letting go of what's been holding you back in terms of people, places, and things, so that you can actually grow. Sometimes things have been holding us back. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Pisces. I think Pisces is our last one, right?
That's right. And Jupiter just entered Pisces like today. So, it's entering Pisces today. So congratulations, Pisces. You get a taste of Jupiter in your sign. And that's a shift that's happening for all of us today. It kind of like dips its toe in for a couple months until mid-July, and then goes back into Aquarius. Then Jupiter enters Pisces for all of 2022. So Pisces, 2022 is going to be amazing for you. But I do think that 2021 spring and summer is super special because Jupiter is hanging out in your sign. And that means like you're ready to grow a lot and sort of receive more of the lusciousness in life. Though, okay, a couple of things here. The lunar eclipse is at the top of your chart. So it's speaking about your career path and this letting go of literally an old way of seeing yourself in the world. It could be an old role or position you had. It even could be a status symbol. Like it could be even a marriage that you're letting go of. It could be a way of a title, an old way of presenting yourself in the world. So that's showing up. And as you do that, what's happening is this is a big deal for you, Pisces, I think, because the eclipses are at the top and bottom, and we're releasing a whole person that we were to the world. And maybe it's a role of being single and married, or partner to mother, or letting go of a career title, or just letting go of what does not fit in alignment anymore. As you do that, you start to connect more to your roots as well. Your home, your family. There's other aspects that you're needing to shift the gaze into that are like the foundations of your life. So I see strengthening the foundations of your life a lot this year. There's a focus on your root system, your home, your family, and really strengthening what is holding you up. So there's absolutely kind of a shift in focus, and it's going to help you, because sometimes even to get to the next level in career, we have to strengthen our foundations and our systems too.
Very true.
There could be a move though. Like they could literally be moving apartments, moving homes. Like an actual move could absolutely be in the cards for Pisces along with this.
Great. We did have a question come in about the midheaven. And this is specifically asking about if Pisces is in the midheaven, does that mean career expansion through 2022? But I think it's a great general question for everybody listening. And hopefully they'll go on your website and take the class about understanding their chart more. But once they find out where their midheaven is and what sign is associated with it, would it play into eclipse season, or what is your thought on what the midheaven means and how it applies to somebody's life?
So there's angles. There's 4 angles, or angels, however you want to see it: north, east, south, and west. And the words are the same. Anyway, they're the midheaven is actually south in astrology, even though it looks like it's north. It's the very top of your chart, okay? And what that represents is your vocation, your calling, what you feel called upon to do in the world, just as your ascendant is how you express. So these are the windows, ascendant and midheaven, through which you express yourself. The midheaven is the more public window of like vocation and calling. The ascendant is the window of self. So these are both windows into your being. But it's, people say like the house of career. Career is not as large as like the word vocation, your calling. Because sometimes what you do for a job or how you make money is actually not your calling, And those are 2 different areas of the chart, totally different areas. Sometimes they're in alignment, sometimes not. So it's really important to differentiate that. So to Jennifer Varley's question, the midheaven Pisces through 2022, absolutely. 2022 is your career year. Yeah, to answer your question, true. Absolutely.
Okay, beautiful. So we've gone through all the signs, and I know folks will be rewatching this video and listening to the signs again, and hopefully sharing it with their friends and their family, because that was a lot of helpful information, not only about, the lunar, the solar eclipse, the difference, the rebirth, the fresh starts, and how it applies to each and every sign. So first of all, thank you so much for sharing all of that. I have a question about Mercury retrograde, because you mentioned it. And we're headed in, or perhaps approaching shadow period. I can't remember the exact dates. And then we're going to be in it for a little bit. So do you have any thoughts on Mercury retrograde, or anything special about the one that we're about to go into, since it's so close to the eclipses?
Yeah, I mean, I just think that it's because it's so close to the eclipses, we really do need to not jump the gun too quickly on our impulses. We need to just like check everything's right, check the car has gas in it, check we're all such a, like you don't want to eclipses can sometimes feel like they bring upon a little bit of anxiety. Like, and oh, we have to change everything and do it all now. And yes, perhaps so, but you want to just check that you have your keys, your phone, your wallet. You want to check, where you're going. You want to check the details. Um, Mercury retrograde is kind of a good thing. It happens 3 times a year, and it's your time to reflect. Like it's necessary. We're not just in a world where we just keep on this onwards growth. There's 3 times during the year that nature needs to reflect upon itself and clean up what happened in the last third. And you got to follow suit. Like go with I'm as I grew up with astrology in my household too. And my stepmother was like, well, the moon's in Leo today. Let's do this. The moon's in Virgo. This is going on. And we would talk about it like the weather. So I think it's important to just kind of live in harmony with the planets and not fight the Mercury retrograde, not try to power through everything. Just take it easy, slow the roll, and give more time to yourself. Double check everything. Clean out your home. Clean off your desktop. Reconnect with old mentors, old friends, and yeah, just take it slow. Enjoy it. Relish in that. Like we don't need to push through too fast. That's my advice.
And it's perfect, and it's poignantly said, because so many times we're trying to rush through the lesson, or we're trying to jump over to that next cliff, and we may miss some of the lessons, the messages, the clarity, the deeper direction if we're moving too quickly. And so I think stillness and meditation will be really key, especially during the next few months.
Yeah. Eclipse season plus Mercury retrograde, absolutely. I mean, throughout May and June, and you're still going to be feeling these eclipses reeling out in July. They have a big impact. And once again, it will like run through the year. You're going to feel the events of May and June that really have impact on your whole year ahead. And I mean, my advice to everyone is to live courageously, trust yourself. There is a change, to trust the letting go process, that you're supported in this. Like the negative space around you, the air is supporting you in this. Eclipses expedite your evolution. If something feels like it's falling away, we don't need to chase it. We got to trust it, So I wish you all like a wonderful, joyous eclipse season. And yeah, I think there are some upcoming events we can chat about too, Dallisa, as well. But thank you so much for having me here. I love your show and meeting your whole audience here. The questions are great too.
Yeah, and it was delightful having you here. But before we let you go, I know that folks are going to be asking about sessions. I know that you are doing sessions, or you have a wait list, but that you also have a network of astrologers that are on your website. So they can get in with somebody in your network as well. So we've got your private sessions and the network. Just go to RebeccaGordonAstrology.com. We also mentioned the Understanding Your Chart class that's on there. And then in the description of the video is the link to Rebecca's complimentary webinar, the one that she mentioned earlier in the show about your body and your zodiac sign and how it's connected. So yeah, let us know, give us a little bit more information as we close out the show. Is there anything else you want people to know? Or we already know they need to be signing up for the webinar. So anything else that you want to share with us before we part ways?
Thanks so much. It's been an honor to be here. I mean, I've been teaching astrology for about 17 years. I think we have one of the biggest worldwide astrology schools, and that's where I'm putting a lot of my efforts these days into teaching and trying to pass the torch on to up and coming astrologers in the world, or even hobbyists that want to use astrology in your life. So this has been where all my efforts are allocated each day now, is to building the school and training people. So if astrology seems interesting to you, if it's something you want to learn, I invite you to our website to explore any of our either curriculum classes or mini courses. We have certification courses, as well as like astrology for entrepreneurs, astrology for health and wellness, love and relationships. We have a lot of mini courses too right now. If you do feel called to get a reading, as Dallisa said, you could either get a reading with me, which there's a small wait list for. Otherwise, if you want a reading right away, I have an amazing group of astrologers that have trained with me that are certified in my school, and they're called the RGA Network, and I could highly recommend any of them too. So that's happening. The last thing is we have an upcoming free webinar, which is going to be on Sunday the 23rd, which is all about astrology for your health and body and how to stay healthy based on your star chart. So that's happening as well. What was I going to say? And then 2 weeks after that, we have the course, which is our annual health and wellness course. Health and wellness is probably the area of astrology that I started in. I know it sounds like a weird place to start, but when I was 14, my stepmother showed me this old astrology book, and it was like, it really talked about the body in tandem with personality. And like having 4 planets in Virgo, I was just taken. I was like, wait, I get this, and I love it. So that's sort of how I learned astrology, and I can't wait to teach that class again. Again, that's sort of what my book's been on, what I've put a lot of energy into is the medical vein of astrology. I mean, this course is wonderful for people who are like in already Ayurveda or some kind of holistic health practitioner, because it really works seamlessly with other practices too. So if you're interested in that, check out our free webinar on the 23rd, it's just on the website. And then the course begins June 10th. So that's a wrap. And that was a mouthful, but.
No, but it's such good information. And this is what we need right now. This is what people are hungry for. And so I'm thrilled that you have your astrology school and you have the sessions available. So it's just been so much fun. We're going to have to do this again soon for sure. And for everybody watching, make sure that you're following on Facebook, on Instagram, and on YouTube, both Spirit and Spark, as well as Rebecca Gordon Astrology. Rebecca Gordon, thank you again so much for joining us today. And for all of our viewers, thanks for tuning in as well.
Thanks so much. I had a great time here, Dallisa, and great to meet everybody on the show.
Yeah, awesome. All right, everybody, be safe out there. Take your time. Slow down. We'll see you next time.